while the birds make music all the day. The young folk grow.
I'm Forrest in Isles of Kentucky, and today we're talking to Ginny RAMSEY at the Catholic Action. And what I want to start with first is, can you give us it's the hotbed issue right now about House Bill number 5 and how that impacts you and the center and everything?
Well, of course, House Bill number 5 has become law, and it's, the Kentucky Safer Kentucky Act, and how it impacts our folks is just overwhelming. It won't be enforced until mid-July. The local law enforcement, the local groups all know. They haven't even received the actual communication from the state yet, because their law department has to look at it. The local law enforcement here has a law department which is going to be checking this out.
Okay.
Our biggest problem that is the fear that it's put in people. I had a 63-year-old mother with a disabled son call me this morning and was just shaking in tears, sobbing. They are being evicted Friday. And her son has no legs. I mean, they're disabled. He's disabled. And she said, I'm so afraid because that means they'll arrest us. And I said, no, they're not going to arrest you, number one. That won't happen until middle of July. So you got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But people think it is in effect now. For that to come out of someone's heart and soul, the fear that they're already trying to hold on to their home, which they've lost. They're already trying to make it. And then to add the fear of becoming a criminal because they have no place to call home is overwhelming. I mean, only 30%, and this is the official government numbers and Kentucky numbers that were compiled by an advocacy group in Louisville. 30% of all those experiencing homelessness in Kentucky are experiencing addiction or mental health issues. So our response to all this is, okay, you're saying it's a good thing because it will get people treatment. What about the 70% that you're just putting in fear? And that was one of the things the woman this morning, between her tears, was asking. She said, I don't need drug treatment. My son doesn't need drug treatment. Can we be okay if we have to live in a tent? We don't understand unintended consequences always. We don't understand the fact that folks who are experiencing homelessness are not more criminal than those who live in neighborhoods. I mean, they're not more addicted. So why are we it never should have been included in the Safer Kentucky Act. Let me put it that way. If we want to make Kentucky safer, you're making it less safe for the poorest of the poor. So why would we ever include that in the Safer Kentucky Act, which we did a lot of work on it. We tried to get to the hearts and souls and call them to a higher place, the legislators, during the time that they were discussing it. The trouble is they first received information from Cicero Institute, who is going all around the country trying to criminalize homelessness. They say they have the answer. The answer is put them all in drug treatment. You don't put people in drug treatment who's a 63-year-old woman and her disabled son who don't need drug treatment. So their true bent is coming from national statistics and actually based from California, most of the statistics, which doesn't fit Kentucky. We're Lexington, Kentucky. We are not Los Angeles. We are not Phoenix. We are not Dallas, who's trying to do a good job. But there's 17 states so far that have passed similar bills to our House Bill 5 simply because of the pressure put on them by the Cicero Institute and some other think tanks.
Well, I'm trying to understand if the jails are already full. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's going to work, because they're going to go to jail. They'll probably, for a night, they'll go in front of a judge. They'll be released. Second offense, third offense, they'll go in there. And I hope that the judge will have some legal discretion to either not impose a fine or impose a fine. And as I said to you earlier, once you start fining people that have nothing, then you're going to be arresting them on bench warrants for not paying their fines.
They'll be arrested on bench warrants for not showing up for court.
Yeah.
I mean, these folks don't all have transportation. They don't all have calendars. I mean, let's be real. Yes, some of them will be very responsible and show up. And it's just like eviction court. Very few percent of folks being evicted show up because they know there's nothing they can do. Mm-hmm. But the real tragedy of the way they put this bill together is that it creates a barrier between those who are most vulnerable on our streets, who need to be able to contact our public safety, need to be able to contact our government officials. This is creating a fear that they cannot connect with them because they'd be identifying themselves as a criminal. Mm-hmm. Now, we did a survey, Street Voice Council and Catholic Action Center, that countered what Cicero's survey. They did their survey in December of Kentucky, saying 85% of people want homelessness criminalized, basically. We did one, and guess what we came back with? 87% of the people don't. We asked them the questions that are relevant to what House Bill 5 creates.
Yes.
Not just, most people would say, yeah, if you're going to get them help, absolutely we're for it. But our questions, and this was a professional survey done, and we had over 2,000 responses in 1 week, and they had 1,500 in 1 week. Mm-hmm. And ours was overwhelmingly that most of the people in Kentucky don't want to criminalize these folks. They want to help them. Yeah. And for the sponsors to say, oh, we're shining a light on homelessness. This was one of the things they told us.
I heard that.
We're just trying to, get people to make a difference. They passed this bill with no money with it. Mm-hmm. So they're telling Owen County that they've got to have enough money to put people, to house them in jail, or to get them treatment, mm-hmm. There aren't enough treatment beds now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do not understand their rationale. And, they're expecting it to cost over $1 billion in a 10-year period.
So what's the, what are the numbers? Apparently there's a discrepancy, depending on how you count homeless in, let's say, Lexington. Mm-hmm. So you said HUD has their way, and you think a more realistic way of capturing jail, hotels,
right,
et cetera.
Right. They are very limited. Plus, they're limited in the relationship they have with people who are experiencing homelessness, mm-hmm. which this is going to really upend their cart. If the government is coming out trying to count, people aren't going to let them know where they are. Mm-hmm. They're not going to let them find them. They may go up to somebody and say, are you experiencing homelessness? Because you've got a tent there. And they'll say, no, that's friends.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So what's the difference in the numbers of how you all count versus them? Like
825, I think, at the point in time that just came out.
That's what they're saying, or that's what you all, and so you all are saying what?
We had 2,410.
2,410.
So we're 3 times basically, and ours isn't totally accurate. I mean, even our Street Voice Council, who are the people from the streets, mm-hmm. When we had our next meeting the week after the count, mm-hmm. we had 47 people in attendance that said, you all didn't count us. Yeah. We were over there. You didn't, we kept waiting for somebody to come. So they're going to be part of the count again next year, even though we did have a core group of about 25 people from Street Voice that did help. But you know, there are ways, our methodology for the street count has been being worked on, and it's going to be more accurate than ever this year. And, you know, they're human beings. These people aren't numbers. That's the biggest thing. We hate it when people are just turned into numbers and say, oh, we've only increased in the United States 12%. 12% out of 650,000, 12% increase. Let's talk about each and every one of the human beings who are suffering.
So let me ask you this. Let's say that just somebody in Lexington sees this interview. It was before me on WKYT. People that'll see this podcast. How does somebody just help the Catholic Action Center, or how can they just get their hands dirty and help you?
First thing to do is to go to our website.
Okay.
Which is CatholicActionCenter.net, and you'll see a lot of stuff on there because we have a lot of different opportunities. And then you send us an email, and then we will let you know. I mean, we've got some good volunteer opportunities coming up with our Dignity Station, which is going to be going out to offer people showers and laundry. We have our Compassionate Caravan that's out all the time. A lot of people want to say, I want to come and serve a meal. Well, that's not as important. That's behind because of COVID, we changed a lot of our ways of people being able to volunteer. But now we've got some real down and dirty things. One of them is with our Give Kids a Home program, which is working directly with over 1,005 students, and actually their families, who are experiencing homelessness in our Fayette County Public Schools. We have people who make phone calls. We have people who actually go and are the mentors for these folks. We have lots of different slots where people can give 2 hours a week, give 10 hours a week, give one-time shot. Because the most important thing, and in our 24 years, we know this. I mean, I don't have statistics. We don't do statistics, except that we do know that we averaged over 12,000 volunteers a year that work with us, and that we are funded only by the community, no federal, state, local funds. People know what we do, and they want to be part of it. But what I can tell you is that it changes people's lives when they see the reality. I mean, even the rally that we had on Monday, a lot of people who came from places that normally would not have been able to sit there and have a hamburger with someone who's living on the streets. That's what we did in February when the Street Voice Council went to the legislature and gave them a free lunch. And 67 of the legislators came, sat around the table, let our folks tell their stories, and they still, some of them, voted yes on House Bill 5.
From experience, it really could just take 10 friends to get together and say, hey, we're going to dedicate our resources and call Ginny up and put somebody in an apartment and help them find a job. Just practical things. And the other thing that, from my experience, is when dealing with the religious community is everybody's in their corner. The Catholics are over here, the Protestants are over here, the Jewish over here. I wish that all of those groups could just pick up the phone and call each other and just say, and maybe they will, someday, and just say, hey, we don't agree specifically with I'm not going to say the way you
the theology.
Do your theology, exactly. But hey, we've only got $1,000 in our budget to help with mission work this year. Well, hey, this church over here has got $5,000. This, Catholic diocese or whatever, they've got $2,000. And it doesn't take long for $100 and $1,000 checks to get big, quick, and help. So,
well, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
We are not part of the Catholic Church.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in general.
And we have volunteers from agnostics,
Oh, yeah, I know
Zen
that.
Buddhists.
Yeah.
I mean, we welcome all,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
we welcome all of those who wish to donate and
Yes.
be part of. And we do have, actually, right now we're working on a program with landlords, but the
Okay.
owners
Yeah.
of rental property, who are going to come together and do some donation of housing
Right.
for our Give Kids a Home program.
Right.
Many of them just need 90 days or 6 months so that they can get their houses in order and be able to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this as a pilot project. It works. We're excited. We're going to launch it this summer more largely, but you're right. It takes all of us together because we're all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have the time or the effort to come up with a program. All we deal with are the people and their needs.
Yeah.
And we don't have administrative costs. That's one thing a lot of people do like, because we're all volunteers.
Yes.
So we're kind of like, okay, this is our obligation as a Catholic Action Center to bring together the community and to alleviate the suffering on our streets.
Absolutely. Well, I want to cut it there, and I want to say thank you, and we can make a difference. We just got to keep on going.
Absolutely.
God bless.
God bless you.
How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? So good to see y'all's beautiful faces and everything, and just so glad we can come together and stand together and be strong in this time of uncertainty. Just want to be brief up here. Don't want to take too much of y'all's time, but just want to let y'all know that if my dad ain't teach me one thing, it was from a young age. He always told me to show love and show love to others, and just always show love. That's what's been instilled in me since a young boy, and that's what I try to do every single day. And do you see somebody, no matter whether it's a stranger, your friend, or your enemies as well, always show love and show that support and have compassion for others. I just go on to say this because God is love. And I don't know if y'all really hearing me yet. So let me go to the scripture real quick. And in 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, it says, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. And love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. And I'll go on to say this to just give y'all some encouragement to make sure that y'all are staying hopeful, staying positive, and staying persistent through this time. I know a lot is up in the air right now, but you just have to hold on to that love, hold on and trust God and know that He's going to make a plan and make a way. And just know that love never fails through Him. And just also want to say that with that, that'll slowly lead to you to everything that you can ever accomplish in life. And it'll lead to respect. It'll lead to many different things. I tell you, if you just show love and treat others the way you want to be treated as well, it'll all come back around. And you guys see my shirt right here. It's unity. And if you can't see, it's unity across Kentucky, the state of Kentucky. And really, that's just all we really need right now, to come together and be strong as one. Because without one another, really, we're nothing. And in times of need, we really have to just lean on one another, love on one another, because in the end, we only have each other. So I just want to say thank y'all for your time. And we got, y'all ready? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We stand together in love. Thank y'all.
I just finished talking to Ginny Ramsey at the Catholic Action Center about so many issues with homelessness, specifically in Lexington. And I don't think anybody's pretending to have all the answers, but I just don't see how putting homeless people in jail is going to be the answer. I think it's just going to come down to some people with some business sense and for the faith community to just do it themselves. I don't have any hope in, I'm not going to say I don't have any hope in the government fixing it, but it's somebody's going to have to get their hands dirty, and come up with, making some mild improvements, because you're not going to solve the problem entirely. But it is, it's heartbreaking to think about living on the street. Most of the people that'll see this they have a home, they got a car, probably 10, 15, pairs of shirts and t-shirts and jeans and shoes. So nothing wrong with that, but there's got to be a better way to help these people get back on their feet, especially the ones that want to. And I can tell you from experience, I've hired many people from the Catholic Action Center that did an incredible job, and that would help them build some self-esteem. So if you have any jobs that you need done in Lexington, mowing, painting, most of these people would love the opportunity to make some money, and that would build up their self-esteem. So just whatever your heart tells you, to try to help solve the problem, because with the way things are done now, nothing's getting done. And have a blessed day.